Okay. I've done 3 of these before, and I never gave the acknowledgement and the credit to the authors. So I'm going to do that makeup here. Starting with Berserk, because I did Guts first. Berserk by Kentaro Miura. I forget who is continuing the story, but this man, Berserk is his life's work. The complexity and the depth of the story is insane. And then you just see the drawings. It's quite bad. Like, it doesn't make sense how he did that. But it makes sense that it was his life's work, and it took so much out of him because the quality is just incredible. It is unfortunate that he passed, like, rest in peace, because his mind is something else. We could talk about this whole night. That could be a whole video by itself. But we're gonna move on to Vinland Saga. Again, not even again. English is my first and only language, so do not. I apologize for the articulation of your name, sir. Not my intent, just not bilingual. For Vinland Saga, we have Makoto Yukimura. Sounded so bad. I apologize, sir. He paired a story rooted so deeply in Christianity, paired with a time of such savagery, and it works just perfectly. Incredible work. It's one of the best stories just kind of almost all time. Of all time. Not even gonna deny it, because of the humanity aspect. You go from some child grown through rage and anger, loses that, and grows into his father, pretty much. I feel like these could be their own videos, but we must press forward. One Punch Man. We just talked about Saitama, I think literally last video. Well, I kind of post and forget. But the story is by one. Low-key kind of confusing, but sir, thank you for the story. It's a good one. Very, very appreciated. And the art is by forgive me. I apologize. Yusuke Murta. Again, it sounds wrong coming out of my mouth. Should have practiced this a couple times. Incredible storytelling and a wonderful twist on the traditional hero story. And this is one of those things. This artist is unbelievable. Those panels are absolutely breathtaking and just hard to understand how a person is able to do that. It doesn't make, it's so fascinating how these men just draw these artworks, and it's not just one artwork that gets hung on the wall. No, it's back to back pretty much. It's fascinating people. And the focus of this story, Chainsaw Man by Takazuke Tasuki. Ooh, wow, sir. I apologize. Fujimoto. I hope I got that right at least. If not, sir, I apologize. For the same reasons I apologize for the other man's name. But I need to do better about that. Made it up though, I hope. But like I said, the focus of this video is Denji's backstory being misunderstood. Spoiler alert, Chainsaw Man has an actual perfect ending. It just does. I think I can actually speak on this first, the perfect ending. You know what? No, I'm going to go into his backstory first because it does tie into why the backstory, or excuse me, why the ending is actually perfect for Chainsaw Man. So, in the first chapters, and if you're an anime only, the first episode, you're introduced to Denji and Pocheka. That sounds wrong too. That's why I didn't want to make this video. Okay, actual seriousness, I'm not going to explain it any further. But yeah, in the first episode, we're introduced to Denji, and we see this teenager who has an eye patch, is talking about this debt and how much money he owes. He's a lumberjack with a chainsaw devil. And as the chapters go further, you just realize Denji has a modern day horror story for a backstory. This is a child who was burdened with an enormous debt from his father to the Yakuza. And it wasn't like, you got a little bit to figure out. No, we need this much tomorrow. I don't care what you do, get it done. If you have to, quoting the show here, if you have to if you have to sell yourself out, do that. Don't care. We meet his only companion in that same flashback, Pocheka, the chainsaw devil. And so through their symbiotic relationship, which is more of a best friendship, they're each other's companion. But that's how he grows up. He grows up fighting devils from childhood, paying money to the Yakuza, no education. And when we get back to where it is in the present of the story, he's essentially homeless. He's living in a shack. They're literally like dreaming of jelly for bread. He can't afford bread for the full month. So some nights they starve. And you also, at the beginning, you see, he describes all of the body parts he's sold to try to close that debt. I mean, he sold an eyeball. I don't remember the full list. I'm not gonna try to say I do. But he also sells the testicle. Crazy. But he's doing all these things, and like I said, his only companion is Pocheka. No one else. The Yakuza, the employers, they're not with him. I mean, he is in poverty. It's not even poverty. It's straight homelessness, starving, and that's from childhood on. It's not like, oh, it's last year. No, this is since he was a kid. He has nobody teaching him. He has no role model. It's just him trying to survive. And so it does, for the storyline, it makes sense why we kind of we go past it quickly. And later in the story, more development happens, and you kind of pick apart his backstory further. But until that point, we never really covered. It's never covered again, and so I feel like the audience just overlooked how awful it is. I mean, before the Yakuza killed him, I mean, he literally was coughing up blood and was going to die of the same illness his mother died, or at least he heard died from. So we see this boy, who's grown up into a teenage body, who has been taught nothing. I mean, he's been taught survival. He's malnourished. He's literally sold body parts, and no parents, nobody. He literally is being not even raised. He's raising himself. And so when people were like, oh, he's just this loser and main character, I just was baffled. I was blown away, because I feel like he's one of the most real main characters. Because we move on to the end of the first episode, and he meets Makima, and within like 30 minutes, or I don't know the exact time frame, okay? I just know that he gets breakfast, and it's not just like bread that he's known for probably years or however long. He gets ramen. He gets to be around a beautiful woman. That was something I forgot. Like while he's starving, he's dreaming of companionship. He hasn't known anything. Similarly, like he's dreaming about a girlfriend while living in a shack. It's not even just like a girlfriend. It's just straight up a connection. He wants a human connection, and he's a teenage boy. Of course he's gonna want a girlfriend. It's just the way it is. That is the most natural thing. And I think that was the other, like that was the biggest thing, is like he doesn't have anybody. And so it gets called a gooner show or a gooner manga a lot of the time, but it's really just he hasn't had anybody to teach him otherwise. Like he's going on things he's learned through his experience. And the sad part is he's never pursued for him throughout the whole show. I think that I think I'm gonna retract that statement. In the second part of the story, he is more pursued for himself rather than just Chainsaw Man. But the first part of the story, he isn't pursued out of desire for Denji. It is Chainsaw Man. But he doesn't know any different. He hasn't gone through any sort of friendship, and all these women now are pursuing him. He's overjoyed. That's what he's wanted. I mean, gosh, the guy never had food, and now he's getting food. I'm going back to Makima. We're at the end of the first episode. Makima feeds him breakfast and was like, I'll give you a job. You can hang out with me. She gives him all these promises. And like, what's a guy gonna do? Say no? I mean, especially when she's like, you can die like a devil. Not really much of an option. Come here, girl. Come here. The crowd wants to see you. Her name is Socks because of her feet. But yes, so you see him, his body get repaired. We're back to Makima. A little lost in the sauce. But we're too deep. Could have put the camera on before I was ready, I guess. Doesn't matter. We press on. But yeah, it's just that, like, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't have any education. And so when Makima, this angelic woman, appears to him, promising him, hey, I'll go on a date with you. I'll give you this if you do that. Carrot in the stick. Of course he's going to be like, heck yeah. And living with Aki, like, it just was everything he dreamed for. A bath every day. You literally see him do the one thing he dreamed about with Pocheka, was put all the jelly and all the honey he could on a piece of toast. We can't ever be, like, I'm sure there are people, like, I personally can't imagine how much of a victory that felt to be able to finally do that. Finally have a warm house with working air conditioning. All these things that we just take for granted. The housing, the water, the food. He had none of it. His whole upbringing. I just remember the cigarette scene. He would do anything for money. That's the point. Like, it isn't just some like, oh, he had it rough for a couple months. No, his whole upbringing was just awful. Like I said, modern day horror story. So, when he has women pursuing him and he doesn't have any experience or knowledge or anybody teaching him, hey, they might not want you for you, he's gonna fall for the carrot every time. He just has been neglected and emotionally stunted. So anybody pursuing him in a romantic way, he honestly doesn't care. He is so starved for love. He will like he keeps making the mistake over and over and over. And because he is a teenager, he's full of lust and is easy to fall prey on because of the emotional neglect. Ah, man, I forgot the eye patch girl, ghost lady, almost took advantage of him, and he was going along with it because somebody was paying attention to him. Chasing Makima because she was paying attention to him. But they don't want Denji. That's like the saddest part. Like, and I'm glad we finally got the Reze arc because he addresses it. He's like, why does nobody want my heart? They only want Chainsaw Man's heart. Because he got fooled by Reze again. And not completely, because Reze did fall in love with Denji. I don't care what anybody says. She absolutely did. She came back for him. Makima's the worst, and it's just gonna get worse. I won't spoil too much for that for my anime-only people. Read the manga though. It is incredible, and it's gonna prep you for season 3, which I am so ready for. Been waiting for. Reze arc took way too long to come out. But let me stop while I'm ahead. If we get Reze arc level animation and it takes 5-6 years or long, who cares? I'll have the patience. That was a beautiful story. Beautiful animation, just top notch. But as it progresses, and we get to the ending, it's perfect. At first, I was very disappointed because Chainsaw Man's over, and it'd be like, when I saw the trailer for the anime, I won't lie, I was bandwagoning. I was like, yo, that is gas. And it was one of those, kind of had to wait a year again. It was weird, like, here's the trailer, you're gonna have to wait for it. And I couldn't wait for it. Or maybe, no, I was waiting for it, and when the first season ended, I was like, yo, no. No, thinking back to it, I think like 3rd episode in, either way, it got me just hooked. And I read the manga and I got caught up super quick. And I'm gonna go back and read it again because it is complete. And I wanna read part 2 through, like, not week to week, but like the story unfold. But why is the ending perfect? Because you gotta look back at the beginning to understand why. As cliche as the ending is, as you know, Pocheka eats himself and gets erased, it really does make Denji's life better. As unfortunate as that is to say, it just is the truth. We get to see him, fulfilled, powers back, and ooh, that might be a big spoiler if you're an anime only, but she's back. And you just see a lot of people are back. Oh man, I'm so happy. I can't remember how to pronounce her name, but essentially child power or child control devil. Part 2 was like confusing me because we overlooked her death so quickly, like out of nowhere, boom. And then we get, Chainsaw Man unleashed. God, it's like that fight was spectacular. It was spectacular. And then we just went past that she died. But she's back. Like, all these people came back. His life's good. He's going to school. Like, his life's on the right track. It's not just like, it's just a perfect ending. It's the happy ending for Denji. It's just, we had to say goodbye to Pocheka. I'm not gonna even try to. It's just, you get to see Denji a little more happy, and you get to see his heart kind of rev up again. I would say, looking back, the frustration I had was just because Chainsaw Man ended, not because it was a bad ending. if you don't see it that it was the perfect ending, you're just wrong. And that's my opinion, and I don't care. I don't want to continue to spout nonsense. I wish I did this with a fresher brain, but oh well. Fujimoto, thank you for your incredible story. It definitely is a big piece of my life. And I wish more people recognized how awful Denji has it and how bad his lifestyle was. But I love you all, and Jesus loves you too. I'll see you for the next one. Oh my God, I can't type.